shift workers. What's the creepiest thing that's happened? Used to clean a church alone late at night. There was a piano upstairs, which I thought was broken, which was why it was upstairs in the attic. One night I started hearing piano music from the attic. I immediately assumed someone was up there pranking me, so I went up and there was no one. When I turned around to walk away after realizing no one was there, I heard a loud bang behind this metal door, which I assume was an attic closet. Never worked the night shift again. Asked the one other person that worked night shifts. She confirmed weird shit happening was normal. I was working at a middle school as a night shift custodian. I cleaned a long U-shaped wing full of classrooms every weeknight. I'd already locked up one set of doors to the wing and was about to lock the ones at the other end of the U. I made the full lap around the wing, and I'd been cleaning there all night alone, and came to the end of the hallway where the doors to the rest of the school were. When I shut the lights off, the dark silhouette of what looked like a child ran from across the end of the hallway from left to right. There were doors down there, but I just locked them all up and no one was around. I was so creeped out, I locked the doors connecting the wing to the rest of the school and ran to my car. I always felt like I was seeing things out of the corner of my eye working there at night, but that was the most visible, for sure thing I saw at that place. Oh man, I worked as a night shift manager at a 24/7 gas station / fast food place in a sketchy part of town. I have hundreds of stories about the wild shenanigans of crackheads. Most aren't creepy, but more what the fuck just happened. Like the guy who gave me a magic crystal to protect me from the apocalypse because I covered the change he needed for some hot dogs. Or the other guy who tried to buy his cigarettes with lawn clippings stating, "I know it ain't weed, but it works almost just as good," before just conking out standing at my register. I'm going to go with the creepiest being discovering dead bodies the first time. 2 regulars owed while hiding in my dumpster area. I called 911 and did what little first aid I knew, but the EMT said they'd likely been dead for hours judging by how cold they were. But I swear to God I thought I could feel a pulse, and I clearly remember hearing a gurgling noise. This happened when I worked in a hotel right out of high school. I did overnight in the laundry room, but I would help the front desk run invoices to the rooms sometimes. I was on the 3rd floor at like 2 a.m. I think, when I bent down to slide the invoice under the door and a pin flew past my face and hit the door. I didn't keep pins on me and I checked around the hallway, but it was silent. You know hotel doors, they're heavy and you can hear people open and close them. I am 100% positive I heard nothing. When I got downstairs I asked my coworker if they saw anything, but they said they weren't paying attention to the security screen. Really freaked me out. That was the only thing that happened in the 8 months I was there. I used to work at a bowling alley. I had finished closing and I had just turned off all the lights and was about to leave. Suddenly, one of the lanes turns on. The only way they turn on is a switch in the back. So I turned on the lane lights and started walking back to turn it off. I was just about to go behind. The lanes passed the curtain when it shut off again. We didn't have cameras there, but I really wish we did because my boss didn't believe me. I work nights driving a taxi cab, and occasionally I'd post up someplace and take a nap waiting for a job. Was waiting at a hospital since you get good jobs sometimes. The hospital would give patients vouchers to go to another hospital or a shelter. I woke up and someone was sitting in the back. Seems I'd forgotten to lock the doors. They admitted they'd been sitting for a few seconds, but didn't know what to do since I was napping. We had a laugh, and I made $75 off that ride. Better believe I started locking my doors after that though. 2 things happened when I was an overnight baker in a downtown area. 1, parking overnights is free in this downtown area, but it can be crowded. First come, first served. This one night, I parked a block away, and as I was walking to my job, this young guy is riding his bike around me and my car. He followed me close to my job. I was quickly able to get in the building. That morning when my boss came in, 4 a.m., he told me about his weird experience of this kid on a bike riding around him in his car. That guy did this for a few days until the weekend, getting closer each time. The last time he tried to hit my boss with his bike, but my boss managed to hop between 2 vehicles and walk away safely. We never saw that guy again. 2. In summer, I would sit outside on a well-lit and busy side street, and on this side at the opposite end was a federal building with nothing between us but solid building. So this one night, I'm relaxing, and I look towards the federal building and see a person completely in shadow walking my way. Even walking under the street light, I couldn't see the features of this person. I quickly went in and waited from a somewhat hidden position to see who passed. No one passed at all in the next 10 minutes. I've never felt such malevolence from a person who was just walking. It still bothers me 15 years later. Used to be exec director of a family science museum. We once hosted a human cadaver type exhibit similar to Body Worlds. 3 times during the exhibit run, in the middle of the night, the alarm company calls me to say motion sensors are going off in that exhibit hall, but no exterior window or door sensors are tripped. 3 times I had to get out of bed, drive to the museum, and walk the exhibit floor amongst the posed cadavers and specimens with a flashlight to confirm all was well. Never found anything amiss. I work in a prison. When I was new, I was working overtime one night in a housing unit that has seen a lot of death. It was well after midnight, and all of the offenders were supposed to be in their cells. Since this was a medium security prison, the offenders still had access to leave their cell to use the communal bathroom at night. Well, I was going in for the 2 a.m. count. I watched an offender walk down the stairs from the 2nd level and into the bathroom. I stood at the entrance to the bathroom and yelled in to ask them what cell they were in so I could add an extra body to that cell for my count, but got no answer. I then walked into the bathroom and searched everywhere, but found absolutely nobody. I told one of my co-workers about what happened, and the first thing they asked me was he tall and skinny with long dreads? And he had been. When I answered yes, I was told, that's Mr. Bones. He killed himself a few years ago, but he still hangs around. I still get goosebumps thinking about it. I worked for a moving company restocking the trucks based on supplies they would need that morning. It's a shitty job. Never work for a moving company. Do not do it. Anyways, I'm stocking a truck, pulled up to the dock when I realize my vision is getting fuzzy. I'm tired. I rub my eyes. My forearm feels wet, but I figure it's sweat and my vision clears. It happens again. I rub my eyes and my forearm feels wet again. I look at my arm finally to see hundreds of crushed baby spiders. My vision wasn't fuzzy. Baby spiders were crawling on my eyelashes. I was covered in baby spiders. I ran to the nearest water hose and got everything off. The next morning I had lots of tiny bites on my legs, but otherwise nothing else.